Hey guys, and welcome to my new series. That was really bad, but I'm not going to start again because that would just be bad of me. Hey guys, and welcome to Carfield 22 does Marvel Cinematic Universe films. I'm not very good at this. I'm really not very good at this, but I'm doing my best. New series in which I'm going to break down every single MCU film right from the start of Captain America: The First Avenger, right through to the current one, Ant-Man, which I've already done, but never mind. I'll do it again if I have to. So I'm going to be including my reviews for all the individual Marvel films, how they all tie in together, and leading up to obviously this big question of who is Thanos. So in this episode, we are going to look and talk about the first ever Avenger, which is, of course, Captain America. So, I guess the best place to start is with a synopsis. So I've been to IMDb, and it says, Steve Rogers, a rejected military soldier, transforms into Captain America after taking a dose of super soldier serum. That's a slur, isn't it? SSS, super soldier serum. But being Captain America comes at a price, as he attempts to take down a warmonger and a terrorist organization, basically Red Skull and Hydra. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm just going to change because I don't like this top, and I'm going to wear my Marvel top. Much better. Got my Marvel top on. We've got what we're talking about today: Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Happy Days. In the first couple of scenes, you've got the leader of Hydra, so the bad guy, Jonas Schmidt, who's obviously the Red Skull, and he manages to find the Tesseract, which is basically the first thing that we see of Infinity Stones. But at that point, obviously, we don't realize it's an Infinity Stone. Anyway, then it comes back to obviously what was it? I think it's 1940s when Steve Rogers is really, really skinny. And it's really funny because he's in line to sign up to, become part of the army, and he's just the skinniest guy. But the funniest thing is his voice doesn't match. He's got really macho sort of kind of voice and everything. It just doesn't match his really skinny, weakling body. It's so funny. So Red Skull, who isn't actually Red Skull yet, is in some laboratory way up in the mountains with his doctor, and they try and harness this Tesseract that they got from the first scene in the movie, which they managed to do and realise, now they've harnessed his power, that they can basically try and use it to win the war and basically change the world. At the same time that Red Skull and his doctor is harnessing the power for this Tesseract, what's his name? Steve Rogers, Captain America, Steve Rogers. He goes to the hospital because he gets bullied, and some bloke comes up to him, who is actually, let me see, Dr. Abraham Erskine, played by Stanley Tucci, obviously, and he asks Stephen Rogers, why he wants to be so much in the army. So he gives him a couple of questions. Why have you submitted 5 times and blah blah blah, and he says he can do something for him. So what I realized this time after watching the movie is that Red Skull, who isn't actually Red Skull yet, was once injected by this serum before Rogers. But the serum obviously wasn't ready yet, so it caused a bad guy to become an even worse bad guy. However, Dr. Abraham sees all good things in Rogers, and obviously now the serum is ready. So after he injects that into Rogers, a good man becomes a great man, and I didn't realise it before. So Anyway, it skips forward to who was it? The Red Skull, and he is now the Red Skull. And he has actually managed to find Dr. Abraham because he is worried that the serum that he was used on him might be perfected, which it has done. And obviously they'll put that into somebody, Stephen Rogers, and then that just counteract all of the power that they've now got with the Tesseract. So, along with the help of Tony Stark, who, if you don't know, is Tony Stark's dad, he's obviously, you know, really clever in, you know, technology, all of that. So, Dr. Abraham and Howard Stark obviously then work together to put the serum into Stephen Rogers. Oh well. So something I just realised was, obviously this is based in the 1940s and Hydra has all of these like really hyped up super weapons, and that just doesn't make sense. And then I realised obviously they've harnessed the power of the Tesseract, which obviously means it's from space and it's their stuff that they're using. So anyway, Captain America then goes on all of these NATO bases or whatever they're called, and basically rather than all these action scenes, you've got all these montages of him going around on his bike and throwing his shield around and all these explosions and everything. They're more montages than actual scenes, which I enjoyed, but I'd rather the storyline kicked in more than the actual action. But anyway, I love the way that he uses his bike and his shield combo to obviously fight everyone. It's pretty well done. So towards the end, you obviously have this all-out fight between the two super soldiers that are being injected with this serum, being the Red Skull and Captain America himself. The Tesseract then does this weird space thing. So as far as I'm aware, the Tesseract is obviously the space gem, and it's like a gateway or a door towards space. So I'm guessing someone up in space has obviously opened it from the other side. Red Skull gets sucked in, and then you see the Tesseract melt through the plane and, well, somewhere on land, so I'm not quite sure where that's gone. Captain Rogers then, being brave as he is, and all of that, saves basically New York because he's got a load of these bombs on the plane. So crash lands this massive big black bird into the ice caps, which obviously brings us back to the start of the film, where we're in the present day and he gets found by someone, but he's all frozen over, and now he's in the present day, still alive as his younger self. So I've been doing this review whilst watching the film, so I've now just seen another scene where Howard Stark, not Tony Stark, Howard Stark, so Tony Stark's dad, is obviously looking for the wreckage of this plane and actually comes across the Tesseract. So let's see what he does with it. So at the very end, we see Cap wake up in this, I suppose, hospital, or what they said was a hospital. He then figures out that he's not in a hospital, breaks out, and he runs into what is, I guess, Times Square, New York at present day. And then obviously you see Nicholas Fury walk up to him and just say, yeah, you've been asleep for the last 70 years, so you're going to be okay. So that brings us obviously into present day, and he's the first Avenger. Being a Marvel film, there's obviously a end credit scene, or, well, sometimes you get mid-credit scene and end credit scene, but in this case it's at the end of the credits. So watch all the credits, or fast forward them, or whatever, and there's another scene whereby, I don't know if you've ever played on the Wii, and you know, like Wii boxing, but you know when you're like punching the punch bags and they like fall off the chains. Well, obviously you got Captain America punching one of them off. Nick Fury then comes in and says, you know, trying to bring you back into the world, and then he says, no, we're trying to save it. And after that it says Captain America will return in the Avengers. So yeah, the next review will be Iron Man, because that's the next one in the series. Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, then the Avengers. So that's when we'll next see Captain America. So at the end of these reviews, I'm going to be looking on IMDb and looking at some of the goofs or gaffes that they call them, errors and plot holes. So I picked out 3. One of them is a telephone in the war room bunker beneath London when Steve Rogers' troops deploy there for briefing is a type not invented until the late 1960s, so wouldn't have been there in the 1940s. The icon used for Hydra looks like an octopus with a skull instead of a head with many arms. A Hydra, on the other hand, has many heads, emanating? I don't even know what that says. Emanating from a single trunk body, not many arms as an octopus does. So basically, throughout the whole film, you have him saying 2 more heads will reappear when you shoot me, whereas their icon is basically an octopus with legs, so it doesn't really make sense. The super soldier process causes Roger to grow several inches taller, but his genes remain the proper size and length for his new enhanced body. So basically, I have no idea. You know for yourself. So anyway, hope you really enjoyed this episode, guys. Yeah, this is a kickstart of obviously the Avengers and leading up to the storyline towards Thanos' demise in the Avengers Infinity War Part 1 in 2018 and Part 2 in 2019. So hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode when we do Iron Man.